It is certainly my honor to introduce the Honorable Donna Griffith, Mayor of Indian Wells. She's accompanied by her husband, Brother Don Griffith, member of Cornerstone Lodge number 659, and a senior Himalay. Donna, would you be so kind as to say a few words?
Okay, so welcome to the City of Indian Wells. I'm Donna Griffith. I'm the mayor for the city, and it's an honor for me to address such a distinguished group here today. I am so happy to see some familiar faces from my youth here, and it really is a wonderful homecoming, especially for me to have all of you here. The lessons that I learned as a child from my very dedicated parents were further solidified for me by my lessons that I learned as a rainbow girl. Wow. And yes, there's the rainbow girls. And I have to tell you, lessons such as love, religion, nature, immortality, fidelity, patriotism, and service are constants in my life. They have helped me guide the decisions that are made by me every day, and certainly as the mayor. Those call signs are something that I use and have used throughout my life. I joined Rainbow when I was 12 years old. I was the ward advisor when I was 15 years old. I continued to serve. I was the Grand Color Guard at Grand Assembly, a Grand Cross of Honor recipient. I was there throughout until my majority. I had the good fortune during that time to also be elected as the chapter sweetheart for my Himalay chapter. Yep. And then I served as the league sweetheart for Eastern League at the time. It was all of San Bernardino and Riverside County, and then I was the Southern California jurisdiction sweetheart. And shortly thereafter, I met the love of my life, Don Griffith, who's here with me today. We just celebrated 36 years of marriage. Don, that in today's society is something that you should applaud. Don, of course, is a Mason. He's a past Himalay Chevalier, past Congress chaplain for Conclave. Noteworthy in his life also is that he decided to serve in a life of service. He just recently finished 13 years on our local school board, most of which he was the president, and now has been appointed to the bench as a judicial officer. We raised our son with the same Masonic values that we were raised in. He's now grown, married, in law school, and is just commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps. He'll be serving as a judge advocate for our country. If you're a Mason and you think that the work that you're doing with your youth groups doesn't matter, doesn't make a difference, it does. This is truly a family who's given our life to service to others, and it's because of the way we were brought up in the Masonic family. So let's talk a little bit about this beautiful city of Indian Wells. You're nestled here in the Santa Rosa Mountains. It's where our history began in the 1820s. We are truly named after an Indian well that is actually here. So travelers would come during the gold rush. They'd come down through a trail to the Colorado River, and they'd stop here at a popular watering hole, and it was an active, thriving Indian village. Decades later, our date palms became profitable here in the valley, and travelers then started settling here. You're sitting right now on historical land that was a dedicated date palm growing, thriving facility, and then later, actually in the 60s, this hotel was built. At the time, it was the Erewhon Gardens Hotel. It was an Asian-inspired, beautiful hotel. Later changed into this Italian Tuscan village, as you see today. And when you leave here, they will begin construction into their third Morphus and will become the first ever Tommy Bahama resort. So we in Indian Wells are very excited about that. And this facility, just like the Masonic fraternity, embraces change, and that's what you're doing today. We just received at home your most recent publication. One of the quotes was, "It's a wonderful thing to have to reinvent yourself," and it truly is. To keep yourself relevant, and to keep yourself relevant in today's society, you do have to reinvent yourself. We at the City of Indian Wells truly do envision that, embody that ethos. We are small. We're about 5,000 residents here. We verge into 10,000 residents during the temperate fall, winter, and spring. I have to tell you, being mayor I was trained for this as a jurisdiction sweetheart. I have to tell you, being mayor, I have a multitude of presentations and appearances and things that I have to do. It always requires a costume change in between. And I'm just lucky I get to change now at home instead of in my car, like I did when I was jurisdiction sweetheart. I'm happy to say that here, among the tranquility of our beautiful resorts and spas, we are also have business to do at City Hall. We're a fiscally conservative city. We have a balanced budget.
Yay.
We do not have to worry about a debt ceiling because we have surplus, because we mind our pennies and our dollars. We have large reserves for our general fund and our capital fund. We have a fully funded pension plan. And the Mayor Pro Tem and I, through our Finance Committee work, just completed an initiative to actually continue to fund the pension fund into the future based off of interest that we have made on some specific investments. Our City Council and I serve at the will of the people. We receive a very small stipend, and all of that money that we save in our pension plan is for our employees and not for any of our city officials. So we are all about taking care of the people that work for the city that actually do the hard work. We are all happy to serve. One of my initiatives as being the mayor has been to really give back to our community. So we have just recently purchased land and will be building our very first park here in Indian Wells. I know all of you live in towns with grocery stores and parks. We now will have both. I'm very pleased to say that. We are adding constantly to our public safety initiatives. We have just added millions of dollars actually and brought our response time for our police and fire down to just under 4 minutes. We provide free ambulance service to our residents here in Indian Wells. We're working constantly and remembering that the people who live here come before us. Our service is to them, and it's residents first. As mayor, I oversee an executive team that manages the day-to-day at the golf facility. If you haven't had an opportunity to go over there, I would encourage you to do that. It is a beautiful facility, beautiful restaurant, food truck, lots of fun to be had. If you don't have time to do that today, come back and enjoy it in the future. Because there is much to do and see here in Indian Wells, and such a small city with a lot of activity going on day to day. I truly enjoyed my time as on the City Council. I'm enjoying my term as mayor. I would say that my upbringing, peppered with my Masonic values, has helped me to be the mayor that the residents of the City of Indian Wells deserve. I would also let you know that I do live my life day to day, committed to my community, my values, which include always voting my conscience, which isn't always an easy thing, and by living a code that embodies working for the greater good. It's not just here in my town or in the Coachella Valley, it's in my region and in my state. I'd like to just leave you with one thought today, and I hope that it's apparent by this conversation that we've just had. Remember that your involvement, your care, your concern, and your support of your youth groups are creating the leaders of tomorrow. You are truly making a difference. You're making an impact. Never doubt that importance. And remember that your youth groups are the future of your Masonic fraternity. You literally are changing the lives of a young man or woman, and I know that because I'm one of them. I want to thank you all for having me here today. It's been an honor to really have this ability to be here. I can't even tell you how pleased I am that you're here, that you're at the Miramonte, soon to be the Tommy Bahama, and I hope that you return here and you have a retreat here in the future. If you ever need anything from the City of Indian Wells, please feel free to reach out. And thank you, Ralph, so much for thinking of me and inviting me, and most worshipful, I appreciate it. Thank you.